It's another tutorial here with Stacey J. Come into my studio where I love to play. I hope that it helps you to pick up something new. To watch more, subscribing is what you do. Please subscribe, like, and share. Hit the notification if you care. Drop me a comment to let me know you're there. Stacey J Studio today.
Hi, I'm Stacey J and this is my studio. Today I want to come to you and talk to you about the forward shoulder. The knobble bit on your shoulder. This bit here, the ball. Okay, me personally, I have that ball on my shoulder and it goes forward. If you're constantly pulling your clothes and making them go backwards, it's because the fabric is required to go over a larger amount here, okay, and a lesser amount here. So like a full bust adjustment, if you've got a big bust, it pulls the fabric from all angles. That's why when you have pulls, you know, and it directs straight to your bust, you know you need more room here. Okay, so it's pulling the fabric back. That means you need more room here. If you look there, if I put that on the center, look how much pulling it actually is doing to make that sit there. Center, there it is, right there. Oh no, black, sorry guys. Center there, harsh, right? So it's saying, no, I want fabric, I want fabric. And you go, no, I want this not choking me. And you go, no, it's a fight. Okay, and once you learn this, you're going to be cursing because you know that you're going to have to do it to all your clothing. It doesn't mean you'll be busted, it just means you have that little ball forward, which might make your collarbone stick out, all right, but it's going to pull your clothes back. So the way to find out how much you need to do it is you find the front ball there and the back bone there with these two fingers, okay, so your thumb is on your front ball, your middle finger is on the back ball, and your hand fingers are in between, okay, and that's how much distance you've got to pull it forward. So I've traced out a half size pattern, so it's a little bit big for the screen. I'm going to do a fancy little over the top of me. You won't see me at all, so not a bad thing. And I'm going to show you how I deal with this problem, okay, because not only that, I've got that little bow in my back that pulls this part forward too. Not much, I don't have much of one, but I've got that bow that goes forward there. So I'm going to show you, and it depends on how, if you have one, they normally go hand in hand, that particular movement, but so my cup of tea is going cold. It's a fruit tea I got from the Asian shop underneath the gym. It's fruity. Anyway, so that is the amount you have to pull it forward. Also, if you do have that curvature more at the top, it's showing you how you can actually deal with that. And if you don't have any other issues, if your shoulders are back but you have that curve, I don't know if that works, but this should help solve that issue of front chokage when it all goes back to fill in that room we've got going on. So I'm going to turn you around. I'm going to put you down on the paper on the table, and I have got a mixture of pens and stuff to show you how to do it. It's not, you can rewind it, etc. if you need to find out what I've done. Yes, I did a couple of little, I have actually already recorded this. I have done a couple of boo-boos and marks where it's not a boo-boo big time big two. Anyway, stay tuned, find out how to make this front knot go to the back and holler up that chokage, okay? And it should be a nice easy maneuver that you can do on any particular item of top. Good luck, and I'll see you on the other side. So I have here a back bodice, and we are going to play with the shoulder, okay, not only the shoulder height but also a little bit of depth put back into the back of the shoulder, due to the fact that quite often when you have a shoulder rolling forward, as I've shown you on my body, you also have a little bit of a rounded back that goes with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover both of those. And as you know, that all actions must have an opposite and equal reaction. So not only do we have to work on the front of this, we have to work, on the back of this, our main area. We want to work on the front as well to make sure. And of course, we're going to have a set-in sleeve, so we're going to then have to alter the sleeve. So it's a package deal, but once you know how to do it, it's quite rhythmic and you can roll with that. Now, I'm currently working on a half-size pattern, and I am very blindly recording this, so I'm hoping that it is in properly because of the way my camera is set up. Right, so I've got some different coloured pencils. I have a ruler, and I also have a curved ruler as well. Okay, so we can do some curving out when we need to do a truing up of our pattern. So we're going to work with, first we're going to say I have to move my shoulder forward 1 centimetre. Okay, but I'm going to do the roundness of my back as well, so we're going to maintain that 1 centimetre. What we're going to do is we want to come down the seam allowance. Let's just say the seam allowance is 1 centimetre, and we're going to do the 1 centimetre because I haven't got seam allowance added to this at the minute, so this is just showing you how you're going to do it. So we're going to go down the centre back 1 centimetre, and we're going to ride along the grain line straight across to the armhole, which obviously, because I haven't added 1 centimetre seam allowance, it's not reaching. So I'm just going to drop it down a bit more, and I'm going to roll across. Normally you just do it in the seam allowance, and obviously there'll be enough for you to reach where you need to go. So I did do a boo-boo, so I've twinked it up. Don't know if you guys say liquid paper, twink, doesn't matter. So we want to come in and hinge here. So let's put a mark. The other thing I do, and I'll find my sellotape, is I add sellotape to where I'm hinging. Just a little trick that I've learnt, because hinging can cause issues. So I just put a little sellotape there, and that just toughens up the fabric, the paper a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to cut diagonally across. Right now I'm not going to worry about darts or anything like that, because I want to show you how to do this. Cutting across there into my hinge, spin my paper around, hinge it right across. I have my fabric here. Okay, so what happened was I didn't record, because that's just what happens sometimes. So what I did was I popped in some paper, some spare paper under my cut. I marked my 1 centimetre, which is just there. I sellotaped this to the paper, then I pulled that down to make it 1 centimetre. The other thing I said was that the overlap, the hinge here, has made the paper overlap here, which keeps that hinge nice and flat. So see, it's opened up there, but it is nice and flat, and it rolls nicely with that. Now that we've made the roundness of the back go up an extra 1 centimetre to cover any fullness that you have in the round of your back, I'm now going to add it to the little ball of my shoulder. Okay, and that's one of the big things we want to definitely do, because if there's nothing worse than pulling your top forward all the time, and I know that because I constantly do that. Okay, so this is a game changer for that particular thing. So what we're going to do is, I'm sorry, I'm just cleaning up my piece of paper, is we've already added 1 centimetre to the roundness of our back, which has lifted this to be 1 centimetre taller, or just under 1 centimetre. So what we want to do is we want to actually raise this 1.2 centimetres. Okay, we want to raise that because that is the difference between the ball of our particular So I'm going to go at 1.2 centimeters. Don't forget, if you work in the imperial measures, I cannot help you with that. I could if I was actually closer to my imperial measurement changes. I don't know where they are. I've moved my room around and I literal can't find stuff. So not cool. So what I'm going to do is I've done the blue for my back opening. So I'm going to take my green and I'm going to do it for the raise of my shoulder. Now don't forget, we've already raised the top of the shoulder point near your neck. So we just want to go down. Now this looks huge in comparison with the pattern piece. It's because I'm working on a half size pattern piece and I'm not halving the actual measurements. I'm just doing it so you can see boldly where no man has walked before. Okay, so we've added our 1.2 here, 2 centimeters here, and here we added 1 centimeter. Okay, so we haven't added any more to that. So we want to get the curve ruler and follow that around to the tip of the armhole. So not only did we just true up our pattern piece, we've added 1.2 centimeters to our shoulder tip, which is going to give us more fabric to go to the front, okay, and to make this line up with our center of our shoulder. Okay, so then you want to come down, you want to true up your darts, if there is a dart up there, of course. If there isn't, you don't need to do this step. I'm only doing it for funsies because it's right here and it's bugging me that it's not lined up. Okay, so there's our dart. So now that we've added this fabric to our pattern piece, we need to now remove fabric from the front. So here's our back piece, all good to go, all sellotaped down, adding room in our back for our little roundedness, and adding some fabric to go over our shoulder to reach the center of our shoulder. Okay, from our neck to our shoulder seam. So it'll go nicely on the shoulder. So we're just going to put that one aside now. And we're going to take the opposite and make it equal. So because we've taken 1 centimeter and added it to our shoulder, we need to now 1.2, sorry, we now need to take that 1.2 off our shoulder. And why we have to take it off and not here, anything added here, is because we've added this fullness to the center back, not to about the shoulder. So we want to come up here. We want to grab our marker. I'll use green for our shoulders still. So you want to come in 1.2. 1.2 is there. We want to angle it down. And we're going to cut out that. We don't want this. Making this green line here. Try and make it darker. Green line here. And your cutting line. Okay. So it's pretty easy. So that is now taking this here, this extra bit we've got here, and adding it, taking it down lower. Yes, because I do them inside out like a fool. So that's there, and there's your point. And because that dart's not taken out, please don't think I've just stuffed this up, because it goes out to there. That will now sit nicely on that, taking more out of here and giving the fabric from the back over to the front to reach. So what it is doing, if you don't do that, it is trying to fill out the back, and that's why your top rises forward. All right, so it pulls it forward and lifts it up around your neck because it's trying to fill up the amount you need to go over your shoulder to get to your center shoulder part. Right, so basically that is done. I've probably forgotten something, but that is done. So we'll now put that aside. So we've made all these changes to the front and back. Now we've got the sleeve. So how are we going to adjust the sleeve? I'm going to stick some sellotape down here first. So today is a blizzard outside. Well, it's not a blizzard. That was a slight over-exaggeration. Today there's a weather warning not to go outside. Okay, stuck that to the wrong side. Not to go outside due to the fact that there are really high winds, like planes are being diverted. Don't go out unless you have to. Mum had to pop out and get her nails done, so I made sure she went straight home afterwards. I've cancelled all 3 of my clients. I've asked them not to come today, and hopefully the weather's better tomorrow. I don't need my clients to try and travel out in this wet weather to just to pick something up or drop something off, not off if it's not of urgency. I've had brides show up in this kind of weather before, and it's not fun for them. Right. So we've got our 2 darts for our back. Our 2 notches for our back, our 1 notch for our front. Now, we've taken 1 centimetre off, and we've added 1.2 centimetres off, we've added 1.2 centimetres on. So that means we need to change our centre dart, our centre notch. Our centre notch goes to the centre of the shoulder seam. Correct. Now our shoulder seam has moved. So maybe we just move this 1.2 centimetres forward. No, we don't. It's not that easy. You can if you want. I know I have in the past. Lazy much, but yes, I don't believe that is the best way to do it. So what we want to do is we want to move the shoulder head. Okay, the shoulder head off the sleeve. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line for our shoulder head. I am going to draw it in a light blue because it's a cutting line. So I'm going to just draw it across. Okay, and we're going to move it to the front. And why we're moving it to the front is because we want to give more fabric and less fabric in our armhole. You can just move that, but that it isn't right. Trust me, it isn't right. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our seam here. We want to move it 1.2 centimetres forward. Let's take our green one because this is our moving line. And we are going to move it 1.2 centimetres to the front. Okay. We're going to cut along that line. We're going to shimmy it. Shimmy. Now we've got the green line up the centre there, so we know where our 1.2 is. So so I went the wrong way. Standby cooler. Of course I went the wrong way, because currently I have my shoulders, my arms inside out. So we'll go that way. That's 1.2. So we want to move our line, our grain line, into that mark. See that mark there? So ignore this mark here because Stacey was a silly Billy. Oh, shivers. I have no idea what just fell, but something just fell. Yes, that's my day today. It's a bit scary and hairy out there. Mum's okay. She's broken down. She's at home. She's probably got a heater on, which I don't blame her because we've got ours on. So 1.2 centimetres. Okay, going that way. So I'm going to just sellotape it down a bit more up this end. Sellotape it down this end. Okay, and this is now where you have to true up the pattern. As you can see, the pattern's fallen short here. Okay, you don't just put the line out there. Just moving it back to the same place. You want to bring your line in and marry it up there. So with our little trusty ruler, I like to just try and get the same shape that is there, like that. It's not really doing it, is it? You can do it by hand if you feel confident enough to do that. But I have the ruler, so I'll do that. And then we bring this one back out to match it up. I'm actually going to put a bit of sellotape there because I've got a bit of a gap. You can, of course, have a piece of paper underneath this. I tend to just join them up like a jigsaw puzzle piece. I don't know why, because I stick paper under everything else. And we want to sort of bring this one out. So we'll come out. Okay, so that lines up our new sleeves. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is, because we have taken fabric out of our front. Now, the ball of our shoulder that's forward, it requires more fabric. So we've just taken fabric out of this side and put it into this side, right? So we need to add fabric. So when we add the fabric, we add it into our bodice and our bodice. So we've taken fabric out of our sleeve, which is going to take and make this part smaller. So we need to give a little, just give a little. So I just want to remove this dart. I'll pause you while I do that. So I've just removed the dart for us so that we can work with this. So we want to give a little bit of space, not much, not the 1.2 centimeters or anything like that. We just want to come out. What shall I add flavour to? Let's do purple to add flavour to, or add size to this. So we just want to come out about 5 millimeters. Okay, and we want to sort of just give a little. And we'll shape that up. So you don't want to add too much, okay? It's a case of, with these rulers, it's just a case of finding the love, the shape that you want to feel for it. As you can see, after the years I've been using them, I still have to jiggle it around. There we go. So we've added a little bit of love to that. Okay, so we were taking it out. We've now added it back. We took it out due to the sleeve, and the back one, we want to take it out of this one. So we'll come in about 5 millimeters. Like I said, I'm doing all of these measurements are actually for a full pieced garment. This is a half-sized pattern piece. So we just sort of want to scroll down, adding that 5 millimeters of, subtracting that 5 millimeters of extra fabric that the back would have. just so our sleeve can go in nicely. You don't want to add too much, subtract too much, just enough, it's complementary. Add some complements to it. Okay, so this is our old cutting line. This is our old cutting line. Okay, and I've marked the dart. The dart will go in, so it's obviously there. And now we cut our pieces out. So to our back pattern piece, we have added some girth to our centre back. We have added shoulder roll, forward shoulder ball to our shoulder, and we have taken a smidge off our shoulder to complement the sleeve. I do that bit at the end. Okay, to the front to marry up with our back, we are removing that 1.2 centimeters, nothing off here, and then we are adding just a smidge of fabric to complement our sleeve. And our sleeve, to complement what we've done to get our shoulder seam back up and running, I just want to add this grain line. I know that's a straight line too, but this was our main grain line. That was the part that moved. I always like to use the grain line that hasn't moved and maintain that back up. Okay, so just in case that's for some reason wonky, which, you know, to me could be wonky. So this one here, we have subtracted a little bit off our sleeve here, but we've moved it 1 centimeter that way forward. Okay, as our shoulder point is now forward. So I would scratch out that. Oh, sorry, that's still there. Oh, Stacey. Okay, I marked that and that made my brain twig out. Right, and here we have taken that little bit out there and scooped it lower. Okay, but it did move that actual pattern piece. Right, is that as clear as mud or what? So those are our new pattern pieces. It is at this point, I would then get tracing paper, lay it on top, and trace out my new pattern piece. And I would write on there, sleeve, I would write the front, the back. I would also put the pattern piece, the name of the pattern that you've just done the alteration to. I would also write the alterations that I did. So I have done a 1.2 centimeter rolled shoulder, rolled forward shoulder, you call it what you will, forward shoulder knob. So you've got that there, so you know that you've done that to this particular pattern. Okay, of course you write the size, the name of the pattern, and yeah, alterations. So a little dot will be there, our 2 notches there, our 1 notch here. Don't know why today's a day I forget what the word notch is, so I'll trace that around. Jeez, that's pretty not too bad actually for freehand. Okay, and that's pretty bad. And then I just trace it all the way around, right back. I know you know it's back with 2 of them, and this is front. Again, I know you know it's the front with 1 of them. Okay, and you take it around. And that clarifies all the work rather than looking at notches and things that you might have traced off or might have done. That is how I do my adjustments. Of course, if I have that dart, horrible armhole dart, there, and I cut there, oops, didn't, and then cut that out there. Now the reason I trace mine after I do the work to it is so, look at that, is so that I know that I've got the base alteration. So say I do that alteration and decide it's not enough or it's too much, I can then go back to my attacked piece and I can say, okay, I actually need only 1 centimetre off here, so I can then rejig this particular piece without redoing the whole lot, if that makes sense to you. So hopefully that helped people that have been asking me about my last mate I made, which was the, hang on, let me face you, which was the bee blouse from Simply Sewing magazine that I did for my season 1, episode 4, Wheel of Fate. I'm still in the midst of doing my spinny scummy thing up, and well, actually Mr. Christopher is. So I drilled a hole with my hands the other day, and I can't drill a hole in the little thing we're going to use as the spinny thing because it's metal and I am not that good. The other thing was only bamboo. So that is how you do the sleeve and the rolled shoulders. That's how I do it. Do it. If this is a thing, if you're constantly pulling something forward, you're not getting that seam sitting right. Okay, you might have that little extra bit in your back there, which is just like a little roll. This knob thing here, now like I said, how to measure that out, and then you can go from there and make your alterations. I hope this helped. If you like my content and you feel that there is some way you want to thank me for it and you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe. I also have a Ko-Fi account if you wanted to send a donation to show that this is the kind of content that you are interested in, because I think that although we turn around and think this isn't working for me, I don't know why I can't do this, blah blah blah, as in like when you make a pattern straight from the pattern box, we can't make patterns from the pattern box. We're not, very rare will you find that you can just make it and it works. Okay, very rare. So there are quite a few pattern alterations I do. That's one of them. I do FBAs, I do a sway back adjustment as well. I also do a high waist. I have a high waist as well. So I have funsies with my patterns. So if you are keen to maintain and find out how I do my alterations, and if there's alterations that you want to have out there, please don't forget to ask me and I can pop them in. Some of them I might have to just research again, because if they're not something I have to do, I tend to not block them out by any means, because I'm always reading, always learning, always loving my sewing, and sewing for a number of years now. And I know one of the first things I ever made, I was bitterly disappointed that it was kind of big and small at the same time. Yes. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to do and come on and show you that. And yeah, stay well, stay warm, stay dry, keep away from this heinous weather. If you're in Wellington, don't go driving, okay, if you don't have to. I went and picked up Victoria from the train station because the train just didn't come. And I'll highly hats off to all the transport in Wellington region. A lot of people get peeved with it. I think it's amazing. Yeah, when we get an earthquake, everything kind of stops. But some of the earthquakes we get, you want the track checked, right? Anyway, so I'm going to let you go. Stay cool, keep on sewing, hydrate, and have no regrets. Sorry, have no regrets. It's an inside joke there. So take care, and I'll see you next time.
Subscribe, like, and share, just to let me know that you care.